same thing again. I said, keep it up. Alright! Guys! Gonna read some fucking stories, eh? Oh shit, sorry, wrong persona. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
The night spot. He drained his glass, returned it to the bar with a confident-sounding clunk, and turned to meet her gaze. So, Angela, do you have a boyfriend? She almost giggled. No, I don't. Ha-ha! I knew it! He laughed. You fat spaz! Am I projecting well enough?
I can hear you all the way back here even.
Harry Potter. Sorry, Harry Potter. Harry Potter lived under the stairs. His aunt and uncle locked him there. One day, a wizard came for Harry. Harry, you are special and have a secret, he declared. The secret is that you are really a puppy. The wizard turned Harry into a puppy forever. His aunt and uncle had been trying to protect him. Hitler's kitten. Hitler had a kitten growing from the side of his neck. He poked at his Fruit Loops lamely, unable to focus his thoughts. I have powers, rasped the kitten. Hitler felt as though he was an inch away from the world, as though he had woken up and remained asleep. The kitten purred, but perhaps it was Hitler's neighbor mowing the lawn. The next day, Hitler was tending his vegetable garden and found buried treasure. He was rich forever! The kitten screamed inside his mind. James Bond. James Bond ordered one of his stupid martinis and everyone was really impressed. Shaken, not stirred, he said. Add a large thin slice of lemon peel, he said, and everyone dropped what they were doing to give him a big round of applause for being so clever and sophisticated. He reached for the drink and took a long sip. Satisfied, he gave the bartender an appreciative nod. I can see why you're enjoying this. He gave the bartender an appreciative nod, then turned to his companion, Miss Cunty Vagina Name, a genius physicist and engineer, which explained the gravity-defying breasts. Well, my dear, said Bond, why don't you tell me all about... But! He was interrupted by the bartender, who suddenly yelled, I stirred it! It took Bond a moment to realize the man was addressing him. Come again? I stirred it, you stupid cocksucker! The bartender explained. You couldn't tell the fucking difference, could you? And what's more, he continued, his face flushed with mad delight, I took a big shit in it! Bond inspected his martini. There was a long, brown, human turd taking up most of the glass. In fact, hanging about 3 inches over the side. Like a limp dick. The room was silent. Bond couldn't stand to look at his conspicuously polluted cocktail any longer, yet, with all eyes upon him, he found he couldn't move. Hours later, the lights were out and the building empty, and James Bond was still sitting at the bar, staring grimly at the rank mud puddle in his glass. He must have left at some point because the despicable shit drinker was never seen again. The Despot. There was a nation once bountiful and prosperous, with fruit and that now groaned and withered under the rule of a ruthless despot named Billy the Despot. Great leader, still great. Wow, what a guy, said the newspaper. In fact, Billy was a turd. But if you ever said so, they'd cut your dick off. If you were a woman, they'd cut your husband's dick off, then sew it onto you, then cut it off. Billy was fucked in the head. He would do shit like film himself doing bad and ludicrous dance moves to Around the World by Daft Punk in various public locations, but with a straight face, and then edit together a kind of amateurish, but actually kind of snappy and professional video of it, and upload it to his YouTube channel. Every citizen had to view this tedious crap multiple times, and leave comments like, "Haha, great leader, this is fucking rad, nice moves bro," and "Lol, this is funny, but actually you're a really good dancer, heart, heart, heart." And then upvote any comments left by cabinet members. It was the role of farms and factories in this country to produce props for photographs. At least once a week, the front page of the newspaper would have a big picture of Billy inspecting a row of fine spanners or an impressive pumpkin. It was important for citizens to see that they had spanners and pumpkins, since they didn't have spanners or pumpkins. They all had internet access, though. Billy's YouTube, Twitter, and Tumblr pages constituted 100% of the internet. One day, the newspaper ran a picture of Billy eating a fine, impressive banana. The regime collapsed overnight, and the starving masses fed on the flesh of the privileged. The fact is, no one can eat a banana without looking a bit silly.
It's true.
See the callback? Billy escaped to a neighbouring country and lived out his days in comfort. But whenever he made a YouTube video, though it still got millions of views, nearly everyone clicked the thumbs down button. Oh. And for the rest of his life, because Billy was so silly, people all over the world called him "You fucking cunt." Nah. Sherlock Holmes and the Adventure. It was a fucking autumn morning. I dropped into 221B Baker Street to borrow a cup of cocaine, and was taken aback at the sight of a gleaming white refrigerator floating around the sitting room. "Ah, Watson," came a familiar voice, and I realized the refrigerator was in fact the gargantuan forehead of my esteemed friend, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. "Come in, will you?" "I am in, Holmes." "So I deduced," he replied intelligently, "from looking at you and seeing that you are here." Turning to the fireplace opposite me, he casually played a minuet on his ukulele, drop-kicked it into the fire, and continued. "I see that you came here by hansom cab today, and your driver was hard of hearing." "That's right!" I exclaimed, my funny little eyebrows leaping comically. "Furthermore," said Holmes, "I observe that you left your own residence in haste, following a marital spat regarding which side you ought to part your hair on." "Gadzooks, Holmes!" I sputtered oafishly, my saliva spraying forth in astonishment. "Correct again! Recently, you purchased as a pet a Pomeranian puppy with peachy yellow patches, naming it Archibald, only to then discover that the animal is female. My eyeballs bulged impossibly from their sockets, so startling my lips that they tried to escape my face, leaping forth from the stupidly gawping mouth and sticking there, protruding and fish-like. Moved by amazement at the precise accuracy of my friend's deductions, I made tiny hops from one fat leg to the other, back and forth like a performing pig. My polka dot necktie came untucked from my trousers and rolled itself up like a cut piano string. I was dumb with excitement, and although Holmes was still facing the mantel, it was all I could do to jiggle my blobby round head about and hope this resembled an enthusiastic nod. But the master detective had not finished yet. For luncheon yesterday, he declared, you ate steak and kidney pie, but the overpowering scent of a new lavender potpourri diminished your enjoyment of the meal. 2 Thursdays ago, you trod on a cat. When you were 8 years old, you suffered a sprain of the right elbow upon falling 11 feet from a bonsai tree. You trim your nose hairs with scissors, properly intended for your wife's toenails, and your favourite colour is green. The force of my own surprise lifted my entire egg-shaped body into the air, and I fell backwards into a wheelbarrow full of mulberries. Then my head fell off. Good gracious, Holmes, I spurted. Great flapping bottoms, I blurted. My rudimentary legs wiggled in the air as I struggled to regain verticality. Jehovah's jolly green genitals, Mary's memorable memories, and the consecrated cunt of Christ. Your every inference is correct to the last detail. Having barely glanced at me since I entered the room, you have nonetheless extrapolated my biography. How did you do it, Holmes? And how, unfailingly and unerringly, do you do it? At last, my companion turned to face me and fixed his steel grey eyes upon my own. My dear Watson, it could not be simpler. You see, I am a wizard. And he painted rainbows in the air with his finger. I'm going to finish with an original story. Oliver Twist. I didn't say an original title. Oliver and 100 other orphans lived in misery. To pass the time, they made Oliver ask Harry Seacombe for a second helping of gruel. Please, sir, Oliver stammered, meekly proffering his bowl. Can I have some more? More! Bellowed Harry Seacombe, his eyeballs inflated with passion. Of course you may have more, you poor weak child! I didn't realise you were so hungry! Who else would like some more? Soon, every boy was enjoying a fresh bowl of piping hot gruel. Then there were fat sausages and creamy mashed potato and trifle for dessert. Merriment filled the hall, and Harry Seacombe's cheeks were so rosy, and his laughter so jolly, it seemed to the orphans that Father Christmas was among them. Harry Seacombe threw his arms wide. Parents for everybody!